Three tomatoes are walking down the street. Papa tomato, mama tomato, and baby tomato.
Plain Ketchup presents.
Starring Lindsay Hinkle and Jamie Nelson.
So this is Plain Ketchup, is it? I prefer something with a little more kick.
Everybody's favorite condiment-themed entertainment podcast.
Put some hot sauce on my burrito, baby!
Hot sauce.
Nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog.
Lindsay, it's so good to see you. Why do you look so depressed?
The frickin' train.
What did it do?
Well, I guess it wasn't really the train so much as the people on the train. So I'm on the train, right? And I'm trying to get to where Jamie is because, obviously that's the best part of New York. There are a few other people on the train. It's not like there's a ton of people packed in there, but there's a few. And there's this man who is clearly intoxicated, screaming at this young lady who is also clearly intoxicated. And it would appear that they are, have some kind of romantic entanglement or something, but it's just one of those things that's really uncomfortable to watch, and you kind of want to call the police because of a domestic dispute, but it's not really domestic because it's on a train and it's in public.
And then you kind of have to wonder if the police did show up, like, by the time they actually got there, maybe the train would be already in the next state and it's somebody else's district now.
Yeah, or maybe people would have gotten off.
Well, I know what'll cheer you up. Let's go to a Finnish folk concert.
Yay!
Wait, how do you make walking noises? That just sounds like you're hitting your microphone. Here we are at the, Arts Club. Lindsay, look over there. Do you see that guy?
All I see is a pigeon.
The other way, you're looking out the window. Look over there in the corner of the room.
Okay, I see that guy, yeah.
That's Jonathan Rundman. He's gonna perform for us in a few minutes. Let's go talk to him.
Awesome, let's do it. There's someone I'd like to introduce to you guys. Jonathan, who are you, and why are you here?
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Rundman. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm a singer-songwriter, composer, instrumentalist, traveling musician. And tonight I'm here in New York City performing with one of my newest projects, indeed my newest project, and it is a Finnish-American folk music duo with my friend Sarah Pajunen, who plays the fiddle, and then I play guitar and piano and harmonium. And we are on an East Coast tour this week, and this is the 5th day, and we have one more show tomorrow in Philadelphia. But that is why I am here, and that is who I am.
Tell me about yours and Sarah's Finnish background.
Both of us are 75% Finnish. 3 grandparents of Finnish background, and then 1 grandparent of some other background. And so we met one another a year and a half ago, and jammed a little bit, and then the band formed about 14 months ago. So we're still pretty new. We just had our 1-year band birthday. Both of us grew up in Finnish-American communities in the Midwest, and surrounded by Finnish people and Finnish culture. And both of us have traveled in Finland and played music in Finland as solo artists before the band existed. Sarah is a classical musician in her background, and I'm a rock musician in my background. And so what we're doing is we're meeting in the middle and playing Nordic folk music.
So where has it taken you so far, and where do you hope that it will take you?
So far, our initial response has been from Finnish-American communities here in the United States. So we've been invited to play at a lot of festivals and Finnish halls and gathering places where Finnish-Americans still get together for cultural events. And then even wider than that, we've been welcomed by a lot of people of general Nordic backgrounds. So Swedish people and Danish people and Norwegian people, because of the connection between all those countries in the Nordic area. They all tend to appreciate one another and the music of the other groups, and so we've had a lot of response from those people too. So that's been really nice. So that's kind of how the band got started. Our first gigs were at Finnish-specific events, but what we're excited about is getting a chance to play for general audiences and just regular music fans, acoustic music fans and folk music fans, people who have no clue about Nordic life or who aren't Finnish at all. But we find that we have a really good time playing for them, and they seem to like us as well. So it's nice to kind of open up the horizons for our demographic.
Awesome.
Our theme of the month is storytelling. How does music tell story without lyrics? History, culture, emotion.
Yeah, and that's a tricky question because our songs are not vocal songs and they don't have lyrics. But there's something going on, I think, in the music, in the instrumental music, that has a lot of, like you say, there's history going on, there's family tradition going on, there's politics, there's all kind of aspects of life coming out in the melodies and the chords of this stuff. And the music we're playing oftentimes is music written by people 100 or 200 years ago or 50 years ago. And so it carries with it a sense of gravity that from the time that it comes from. And even though we didn't know those composers and they've been long gone, there's something going on musically in those melodies and those chords, and it's really exciting to tap into that. And sometimes after concerts, audience members will tell me, when you played that song, I could see a landscape in my mind, or I remembered my grandmother, or I remembered a trip that I took, or I remember being a child, or they'll say things like that. And that's pretty interesting to me because my background is playing pop music and singer-songwriter music, which has lyrics on purpose. Lyrics that are written very deliberately in a lyrical way, so that the song has a very clear point, a very clear maybe a plot, or there are words that are there on purpose. So it leaves the audience a little bit less flexibility in terms of how they interpret it, because they can just listen to the lyrics. But it's fascinating for me to see the audience. They're creating a story in the moment, in the audience as they listen, and it's different for each person, and that's pretty interesting because that's a new thing for me.
It's very cool. How with the songs that you guys didn't write, how does the musician / storyteller, how are you involved in telling the story? Like, do you bring yourself into it in some way?
Well, we bring ourselves into it as musicians, I think, because we play certain instruments. So those instruments inform how the song sounds. We play, we have certain technical preferences in terms of, or technical abilities in terms of what we can deliver. So a song that was written by an accordion player and was played a certain way, it's going to sound different when it's played by violinist Sarah and a piano player me. So instruments change some of that, and then our own preferences, because we're not Finns, we're not from Finland, we're Finnish Americans, so we have an American stamp that goes on this stuff just because we weren't born there and we didn't grow up immersed in that kind of stuff like some of the players from Finland might be. So there's an American thing going on in our music that's just by nature of who we are as people. So there's some of that, and I think that brings in a whole other storyline to these songs that may be traditional, they may be old, but we're just by the reality of who we are as players and people, they are refreshed, and we hope we are doing that well and honoring the original composer, but still it's fun to reinterpret and to do something new.
Absolutely. Do you do anything on purpose to change things, to either modernize it or Americanize it or anything, or do you try to stay true to?
No, we do things on purpose, and sometimes we have a internal decision to make. Like if something's really traditional and we know how the traditional thing is supposed to be delivered, then we have a little bit of a conundrum, because we have to decide, do we do it the way that we know it's done traditionally and try to nail that as accurately as we can, or do we deliberately deviate? And in some situations we feel more inclined to stick closer to the tradition, and in some situations we feel free to go way off of it. And some of the stuff goes way off, and we really, the word that musicians use sometimes is progressive. So where we mess with the time signatures, we mess with the chord voicings, we mess with the arrangement and make it more complex or more experimental. So, but it's an artistic conundrum, because that's a judgment we have to make in any given situation, and that's a challenging part of doing this kind of music that's pre-existed. If you write your own songs and you're just writing songs that you like because you think they're cool, then no one can argue with that. You just play what you want to play. But for this stuff, there's a standardized version of the tune out there, and someone could feasibly say, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
And we've got to walk that tightrope.
What's one thing you want your listeners to come away with when they hear your music?
Boy, well, I hope they maybe hear something new, and that's definitely true for me, because the band is new, and before I started playing in Kaivama, I didn't know very much about Finnish folk music. And so in many ways, I'm a lot like the audience, because I'm only a few months ahead of them in the information department. So to my ears, this stuff sounds really beautiful and fresh and surprising and fun, and so I hope that the people in the audience feel the same way that I do it, because I'm just like them. I haven't heard this stuff my whole life. I'm just learning right now, and so it's really fun to take a genre and a culture and a country like Finland, which is a small country that not a lot of people have visited, and there's only 5 million people who live there, and to take some of their tunes and bring them maybe to a town or a person that might have never heard it before. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's pretty unique, like you and the audience are learning together, rather than like you saying, okay, I know all about this music, and being kind of preachy about it. It's sort of a journey for both of you.
It is. It's a discovery for the band and the audience.
How are you excavators?
Well, our band is called Kaivama, and that comes from the Finnish verb kaiva, which means to excavate or dig or delve. And so one of the reasons we chose that name is because we're digging into our heritage, and we're digging into the musical roots of Finland. But the other reason we're excavators is both Sarah, the fiddle player, and myself are from iron ore mining communities in the Midwest. I'm from Ishpeming, Michigan, and she is from Hibbing, Minnesota. And both of those towns have gigantic open pit iron ore mines where Finnish immigrants came to work 100 years ago. And that's why our grandparents came to the United States. So digging is literally and figuratively what our families have been doing here. And that's what we're doing musically too.
So people can pick up your new album.
Yes, they can go to kaivama.com, Kaivama, and they can order the album there. It's also at the iTunes Music Store and on Amazon.com and other online retailers.
And they can also come and find you around the country and selling it out front.
Yes, and they can see us on tour.
Yeah. You guys are on Facebook and Twitter?
Yes,
And
I think we're on. We might be on Twitter. We're definitely on Facebook, and we're definitely on YouTube. And there's we put up videos pretty regularly, and there's a lot of different videos from a whole bunch of strange locations and venues of all different kinds. And that's another interesting thing about this band for me, is that we get to play the strangest collection of venues that you can imagine, and all of them so far have been a lot of fun.
Cool. Thank you for giving up your time today.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks for listening. Before we play a song from the band and let you go, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel this Wednesday, youtube.com/playingcatchup for episode 2 of our concert series, Let's Jam, featuring Jonathan and Sarah as Kaivama. Play the record, Lindsay.